Alright, this is video 4. This is just going to be a simple tutorial for Garry's mod. This is number 4, as I just said. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I recommend you going back to the other ones and starting from there. These are going to be very simple tutorials, just teaching the basics. Alright, well, where we left off, I just kind of retaught the weld. We kind of went over axis and rope and whatnot. So, yeah, that's those. Let's see, what's something else that's kind of useful? Slider. This one confuses a lot of people, so I might as well go over it real quick. Now, a lot of these tools that we've seen so far kind of deal with putting two props together or whatever, and those props are kind of relatively constrained together in a local way. Well, this one kind of does things differently. I'm first just going to show you when I weld it to, or axis. God, I can't do this. Slider it to the world to show you kind of what it does, just a little bit better. If I click a couple of spots, you'll see it creates that, it's a bar looking thing. It depends on how you have your settings. And a lot of people don't understand because when they let it go, it does this. They don't really get it. Think of it, you know, like the kaleidoscopes, or like, perfect example, think of the captain's telescoping, you know, their little eyeglass, not the eyeglass, you know what I mean, the things that the captains used to use back in the day before they had technology, modern technology. It just pulls out. It just goes back and forth. It slides along. Think of that black thing as a bar. It slides against it. But the problem with this is it can be very unstable. And back in the day, it actually crashed servers all the time. And you can see there as I threw it. See how it freaks out like that? So I tried to recommend not ever using this. But when you absolutely need to or whatever, it's very useful. But that's to the world. Let's do it to another prop. Now, when you do it to another prop, it just gets even wonkier. So let's unfreeze both these. Oh, I'm sorry. I never did tell you, with the Physgun, if you click something, obviously unfreezes it. Whoop! Get over here. But if you click R while you're looking at a series of things constrained together, so these two are obviously constrained together with that slider, it'll unfreeze everything. But if you can see now, so I was talking about the slider, it acts really weird sometimes. Like right now, I wasn't expecting it to freak out this much, but it is, and it's kind of forcing me not to show you that. But let's try to get something different here. Let's just get a couple of these because they seem to be a little more stable. And then we'll axis, or slider them. And also with the slider, and with a lot of other things, if you see a top right corner, or excuse me, top left corner, it'll make a slider perpendicular to the surface it hits. So if I right click here, it'll make that slider perpendicular to this face. Perpendicular means like 90 degrees out from that face. So it went from there and it went straight out until it hit something else, which was this prop. Anyway, so we're gonna freeze this. And see how that works? I don't know how to really explain, but gravity is affected, but it's also at the same time really wonky. So it'll slide down it, but if you spin this too much, the prop will go flying. I don't know. Like I said, it's pretty unstable, but it has its uses. So that's the slider tool. All right. So and let's try. Oh, and then of course the settings on it. It's just the width. There's no other settings you can do with it. All right. Muscle and hydraulic are fairly similar. I honestly don't know why muscle really exists. I've never really seen it used in a very useful way. So I'll just teach you hydraulic and then I'll tell you how muscle works here in a second. Now hydraulic is kind of similar to slider in some ways, especially if you have fixed put on. But a hydraulic will only move as far as you tell it to. So if you think about what a hydraulic is in real life, it's almost the same thing. It's just it's a constraint that moves two props in and out. That's all it really does. You can have it fixed or unfixed. I'll kind of really show you what that means here in a minute. and this is the first time you'll see this, well, in my tutorial series. The toggle key is what key it corresponds to turn it on and off. Right now, I have it set to my up arrow key, and you can change it anything you want just by clicking it. And then it says press a key. So if I press any key on my keyboard, say I'll hit my 0 key, numpad 0. See that? Changed. So just keep in mind that it's relative to whatever this is set before you click it, before you create it. If you did this after you created it, it wouldn't work to the one you just created. Anyway, so we're going to change the speed. I don't know why it's so high. Let's make the width a little bit. And that's another thing. If you set your width to any of these things that have one of these to 0, you won't be able to see it at all. It's kind of useful, but right now, let's make it so you can see it. Let's do that right there. Alright, so let's go ahead and clear a couple of spots here. And there it is. The hydraulic is there. Got unfreeze just this one. And it falls down, acts kind of weird, and it honestly acts like a rope. But the key difference here is if I hit, well, let's just put them both on the ground. And if you see here, it's a fixed rope. Or not a fixed rope, but a rigid rope. Anyway, if I press that 0 button on my keyboard, does nothing. Oh, there it goes. I guess I didn't hit the button hard enough. You see how it expanded out like that? And then if I hit it again, it contracts. So it's a good way of actually making doors, and I can show you a real quick way of that. Well, honestly, I'll just show you the way fixed works anyway at the same time. But so imagine you have a couple of props here, pretty close together or whatever, and this is a door. Oops. Say there's a hallway or something you want to get to right here. This could be pretty useful to make that into a door. If we check the fixed, what that'll do is instead of it flopping to the ground, it'll act like the hydraulic, but it also act kind of like the slider as well. It's a little bit more stable than the slider as well. So if we click a couple of times, it'll go there, and I'll unfreeze this one, and then hit the button. There it goes. Opens up. So there you go. You could make that into a door. And then we can close it. There it goes, and close it back up. Now, you could probably guess what speed does now. It's how fast that goes in and out. So that was set to 26. Let's set it to like 50. You know what, let's go even higher than that. 150. That sounds good. And then place it. Yeah, much faster. Can be useful for a lot of things. But if you notice, see how it kind of went down there? It's because I didn't click in the very middle. Remember, it really is relative to where you click. So if I click here and here, well, what direction do you think that's going to go when I unfreeze this one? It's going to go up. So anyway, that's hydraulic. Distance is just how far it will go. So that's 100 units. That's how far 100 units goes. You can set it to obviously higher or lower or whatever. If you have it on 100 or anything positive, it's going to go that distance. Or wait, can you even go negative? Yeah, it's going to go further the first time you press it. If you had it to a negative number, it's going to shrink in the first time you press it. So just keep that in mind. All right, so that's hydraulic. And then muscle is almost the exact same. I'm not even going to show you, but it kind of goes back and forth. It'll just keep doing it over and over. And it's a little bit wobbly, I guess you would say. I don't know. It's just kind of different. But it's, like I said, so if you understand hydraulic, just understand that this keeps going back and forth over time. So you can set the time to make it go faster and slower. And you can also have it start on if you want. And toggle just means once you click the button once, it'll keep going until you hit the button again. That's all toggle means. All right. Well, this video is about over, so I'll go ahead and end it there. Yeah, I don't even know what I was going to say. Let's go ahead and end it. See you guys in the next one.